Hello, my name is Anjani, and today I'm reading the full moon astrology report for the 10th of May at 2:42 p.m., which is the exact time that the sun and moon come in exact opposition with each other, which when the sun and moon are in exact opposition, that's what gives that bright illumination, the full visibility of the moon. So, a full moon typically, I always say this, the new moon, you plant the seeds. The full moon is when um, what you've planted at the beginning of the cycle is full. And it's come to fruition in some sort of a way. It might not be exactly what you thought you were planting. For this full moon, really, from what I see from the chart, I could go into all these details and I will give a few of the specifics. There's a lot going on with this full moon, and I never say, I would never give an overall thing to say about the new moon or the full moon. But this one, if I had to pick something, I would say that this is a very dynamic and intense full moon that we're having on May 10th. And not to give any fear, that's something that I like to really avoid is getting into a fear space about what is not in our control. But there is a lot of intensity, a lot of very crucial things coming together in the astrology for the full moon tomorrow. And my biggest piece of advice is to be the witness and allowing things to unfold, heightened sensitivity around emotions, yours or somebody else's, and receiving somebody else's heightened emotions without getting drawn into the storyline and without so something that I've been practicing actually is being fully present with the story, because that's all of life is a story, and it's somebody's perception and our own perception. And so being fully present with the story without getting attached and drawn in to make yourself become a part of somebody else's story. So let's get into a little bit of the specifics here. The other thing I wanted to mention is about yoga. Yoga, of course, as we know, has its deepest roots in India, although in ancient Egypt they were practicing similar exercises, not physical exercises necessarily, but some physical exercises, but they were practicing energetic exercises, working with subtle energy in similar ways that the ancient Indians were. So I think it's one of those things where the stream of consciousness, that's what was happening at that particular time. And we have documented records of the ancient Egyptians and the ancient Indians practicing similar techniques. Hatha means sun and moon. Hatha yoga is meant to balance the sun and moon energy within the physical body. So, just from that, we already can see that the ancients were seeing our physical bodies as an extension of the cosmos. So, for us to balance sun and moon, heat and cold, feminine, masculine, the duality within ourselves, we have lost a lot of the ancients' wisdom. And there are some people, and I'm very grateful to them, who are keeping it alive and who are bringing it back and giving us this full renaissance of what the ancients were doing. So this full moon specifically has to do with balancing the sun and the moon. And of course, every time it's a full moon point, that's exactly what's happening, is that the sun and the moon are in exact opposition. So it is a great time for balancing energy in the body. But this particular full moon that we're only going to get it once a year specifically is asking us to balance the energies within the body, because Taurus and Scorpio as an axis, this is complete power, intensity of energy and emotion, and this is complete embodiment. Now the opposite would be, renunciate, disembodied, disqualifying the human body. Over here would be complete powerlessness, being a victim. So those we're not focusing on, because what I really want to emphasize is our power, our innate ability to create things in our life, in our body, and our ability to embody, to be fully embodied. To be fully embodied means that every single archetype that we know as humans, and of course I'm pointing around this circle, but there's more. This is just one way of describing the fullness of your humanity. And here we want to embody every piece of this. So we're not disqualifying any one piece. What I often find that people want to disqualify is everything that's in this axis, everything that has to do with intensity, power, sourcing power, sorcery, witchcraft, shamanism, and then over here with Taurus having to do with being bodied, loving your body, having pleasure, receiving pleasure, being sensual. So this entire path is usually not very well valid or validated in our culture. So for this full moon, you may be feeling intense emotions. You may be, feeling stuff in your body. The full moon really fills you up with water. It like draws, like the way it does with the ocean. So that's why the word lunatic, crazy stuff will happen because the water on the brain. So with this particular full moon, I'm really being called to honor the body, feel the emotions, be present with what's happening within your body. And then as other people are doing whatever they're doing, around the full moon, people do tend to freak out more. There's more 911 calls. There's more, it's more intense. The energy is intense. Just imagine having a tidal wave happening within the body, or a tsunami taking over within the body. And we don't know how to engage with that energy, because the only thing we're told is don't cry, forget about it, let it go. As far as, when we have this surge of emotion, we're not taught to sit with it, be with it. I did a video yesterday, maybe 2 days ago, called Emotional Responsibility. Responsibility. How able are you to respond to your emotions? This full moon is the time to practice that. And there's an exercise in there that basically has you get in touch with where you feel the emotion in your body, and then just feeling it. And don't attach any words to the feeling. Just let yourself feel it, and let that emotion, energy in motion, move whatever way it wants to move in your body. And as soon as you start to think and say, like you attach a word to it, it changes it, and it puts it into a little box. And so we want to be able to let our emotions move and flow. And when we try to repress them, call them a name, make them do something, that's when they get, agitated, and you're not letting them be. It's like a little kid who is, like a little 4-year-old who wants to wear his underwear on the outside of his clothes, and you're like, hey, you're thinking people are going to think you're such and such, and but you don't want to put that on the child, because they're having their own natural expression. If you let them just do it, it's over and it's done, and they got to do their thing. And if you tell them, no, that's bad, and then it creates what is called a samskara, or a mental imprint in their mind, that who knows. So anyway, with ourselves, we also don't want to do that. We don't want to tell our emotion how to be or how to move, or, oh, you shouldn't feel like that. As a little kid with strong emotions, I heard that a lot. Even as an adult, I heard that a lot. Like, why are you crying? You shouldn't feel like that. Don't be scared. Don't be mad. Be whatever you want to be, but the best thing to do, especially for this full moon, is allow yourself to feel whatever you feel. Boy, I sure talked a lot and I didn't read a lot of chart. So here's the moon. And there's 3 little highlighted colors here because there's 3 things happening that are involving the moon. The moon is opposing the sun and trine to Chiron and trine to Neptune. So a trine is giving an easy flow of energy between 2 planets. Chiron being the part of us that is the alchemist or the healer, and then Neptune being the part of us that is imaginal, dreamy, that dreamy unconscious state where all things are possible and we're able to create anything. Trine, so sending easy flow of energy to the moon. So that really gives this an ability to heal our own wounds just by virtue of being with your feelings, letting your body be open to receive the energy of the cosmos. So if you can tomorrow, starting now actually, so there's a 3-day window, the day before the full moon and the day of the full moon and the day after the full moon. Schedule some time to just lay down. There's yoga nidra practices you can listen to, the binaural beats, or as my friend Hayden says, the binatural beats, that you can, you have to have headphones on. Listen to that and take 15 minutes and just relax your body. Let your body go. Shavasana. If you're practicing physical yoga asanas, Shavasana is the number 1 priority for your yoga practice for this full moon. Then also, what I was saying about Ha and Ta, the sun and the moon, doing some pranayama breathing exercises to balance those energies within. And I'm going to actually make a video about that because of balancing energy. This goes along with the Pluto cycle, and this also goes along with energy, which is something I'm going to be focusing on for the next couple of months. So got that. We got a trine going on. And then with the sun up here, we have the sun trine to Pluto. So this is a lot of energy moving into. So the trines are sharing energy between 2 things. So when I say this is a very energetic full moon, this is what I'm talking about. Trine to Pluto says that underworld shadow energy is sharing energy with the sun. So, and the sun shines over everything that it touches. So with Pluto there, that's really bringing in this extra emotional intensity into the full moon for Taurus and Scorpio. So the last thing I'm going to mention here, I was sort of using the chart as a meditation tool before I had my 2-hour massage today. And something that came to me was when I was focusing on the position of the sun and moon, I was seeing that this sort of had to do with our perspective and our cognition. And so the moon being, the way that it looked in my meditation anyhow, was the moon, the dark part that was holding all of the collective unconscious. I talked in another video a couple of days ago about time and karma, and the moon being sort of like that space where we have all of our patterns and addictions, and collectively it's like we're not separate. So whatever my addictions and my afflictions and my tendencies and my patterns, it's a piece of the whole. So everything living in the moon that has to do with that material. And then the sun being like the inner sun, which is the illuminator, the inner eye in a way that illuminates. And these two are in opposition. So this is really going to be, and it's not in a predictive way. I don't really believe in predictions as far as doing astrology readings, but not but and. The way that it looked to me was illuminating all of that shadow material, all of it, because there's so much. I mean, just look at this chart. There's so much going on. So many, we have Uranus and Mercury together, who are also square to Pluto, has to do directly with cognition and perception and radical change. And Pluto is a major player here because Pluto's got all this stuff going on. So illuminating all of that, our collective unconscious patterns, and I'll just say patterns, the wiring that we have collectively, illuminating that. And then, things are coming up. Things are coming up to the surface. So when you notice something coming up, bless it, honor it, thank it. Don't judge it, because everything is here for a reason. Even the things that we don't like are here for a reason. So as they're coming up, just give thanks, because you were able to see it. You were lucky enough and grateful. What do you say? Some people won't be able to see it. Some people won't be able to feel it, and it just stays lodged in their body. And when it stays lodged in their body, it remains a piece of, the weight that's keeping us spinning in our same patterns. When something emerges from one person, it comes up to the surface, and it can change. It can transform. But as long as we are each individually keeping them in, keeping it down, we're not giving space for that to rise up and change, which is what we so desperately need right now. And that's what I see in the sort of cosmic plan. It is giving us a space for transformation. So I will stop here. I kept it under 20 minutes. Please leave any comments, ask any questions. I'm going to get this uploaded and to you right now. So thank you so much. I look forward to connecting with you soon.